Okay, so I have my alien looking gingerbread guy here. And we're going to continue with splines. And let's see, let me show you. Let's do star. Let's do a star over here. This kind of puts in this star that you can make adjustments to. And then, you know, like all other things, you could make changes to the star before you and after apply the modifier to extrude it. Let's give it a little bit of thickness there. Now I have a star. Go back over here. Text, whatever you type in the box is what it will add. And then I can modify it. Lost it somewhere. There we go. And I can extrude it as well. And it's like that with everything, or all of them. They can all be extruded. The only one that's a little different is the helix. But these can all be extruded. So you can create new and interesting shapes, and then you can modify them after the fact. Okay. So I was with this one, it allowed me, the line allowed me to have access to the selection tools, so I could make adjustments to my vertices, my segments, or the spline itself. Gotta click it again to get out of it. But for the star, you see I don't have that option. So what I have to do is right click on it and convert it to an editable. It's not even let me convert it to an editable Oops, that's because I was on extrude, sorry. Convert to, it's not letting me do the editable spline. Okay. So some of these, let's try that. Right click. There we go. Convert to an editable spline. And then it will now give me this selection. And now I can modify. And these little handles on the side allow you to adjust the curve. Okay, so I just select it, right click, and convert it to an editable spline. And then it will now give me this option. Now if I wanna add some additional vertices in here, I can do that. Okay, you got to come all the way down here under geometry. And there's a whole bunch of things we're going to get into. But let's just start with insert. And you see how my cursor changes when I hover over my spline. And now I can add an additional point into my, I can keep going as long as I want. When I'm done, I right click. And now I have these additional vertices that I have added. So it's under geometry and insert. And I'll do this again with something else. And now I can add my extrude, and I now have this shape. It looks like a whistle or something. Not quite sure what that is. Okay, let's do this again. So I'll show you again. I'm going to move all of these guys back. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let's do rectangle. Okay. And my selected move tool, select it, right click, and then convert it to an editable spline. And now I'll have the ability to move my, oh, that's interesting. That looks like a piano in elevation. I didn't realize it curved like that. I thought it was going to be a straight line. Also, if I right click, I can convert any of these corners to round corners, smooth corners. And then if I want to add additional vertices, I come in here and select Insert, over here on the right, Insert, and then I can add, right click to get out. Oops. Let's go there. And then I'm going to add my extrude modifier. And now this three-dimensional shape that I've created. Okay. So that is, those are the basics for that. I do want to show you something else. I'm going to File, Reset, don't save. Yes. Okay, so one other thing I want to show you with the splines. Whoops. Next time I hit orthographic. Change that back to front. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come to my splines again. And I'm going to pick line. And I want you to come down here under rendering and expand that palette. And you see where it says enable in renderer, enable in viewport? I'm going to check both of those. And now when I draw a line, I have something that'll mess this up immensely. It has a thickness to it. Render this out, and I'll show you guys how to render here shortly. I can see it. There's a lot of thickness to my line. So now when I edit this, and I, whoops, well, back under rendering, those allow me to now see. I can also make adjustments to how thick it is, and it creates a thick line. That, and I'm going to show you guys how to do rendering, just not right now. And I can adjust the sides. I can adjust the angle. And I can also make it rectangular. Okay. So if I turn those off, I still have a line that I can use. It's still a functional line. But when I render this out, it disappears. So those are the basics of working with splines. They get more and more complicated, but like I said, we're gonna keep this simple in the beginning. I want you guys to get comfortable with the basics, get to where you can do the basics without having to look at your notes or watch this video again. Get really comfortable with that, and then we'll add on to that, because you can do some really cool things with this. I'm going to show you a couple modifiers in the next video, but I'm going to end this one here and see you in the next one.